right, guys, we're back at it. Episode 96, Real Fan Sports Podcast. Unfortunately, we do not have Gabe today for some of you. Some of you like coming at Gabe all day, which we find hilarious. But I'm with my boy Julian, and I'm back from my little
sabbatical.
my hiatus, my sabbatical. I had some time off from the podcast, build up some PTO, but we here, man. It's suspension. Shit, that escalated quickly, and I got suspended. But good to be back, man. What's been going on with you and Gabe?
Just I've been missing out in a long time. Usually it's the three of us, or it's just me and Gabe, but just me and you. We need a little bit of more intimacy over here, man.
Hey, listen, if you missed that connection, man, you know where to find me. You could have just hit me up anytime, bro. I'm here.
Except just not on the podcast.
Yeah, crazy, no Gabe, but yo, what's been going on in those episodes with you two, man?
Dude, NFL's been popping off. I tell you what, man, this time of the year with sports has just been, it's so much, especially for me because I'm doing Real Fans FC, and now this one, like, man, trying to manage and watch all the leagues and all the sports and everything, it's becoming a lot. So I'm just like, I'm watching highlights on double speed and like trying to catch every game possible. It's a lot, but we're getting it done. But I also love it at the same time.
Shit, you sound like you work for ESPN right now. You got a contract that you're not telling us about?
Yeah, for real. I wish, dude. I'm not getting paid enough for this or at all.
Yo, you know what you should do? If you're watching sports, you should start a podcast.
Yeah, probably. Oh, man. So let's get into, we haven't heard any NFL thoughts from JoJo because you have not been here since the start of the league. We are now entering week 3. But before we get into week 3, which we're going to do our weekly pick'ems for, let's talk about the first 2 weeks. And one of those being, I don't want to say it's a surprise team, but a team that a lot of people are thinking could potentially be contenders this year for the title or their division, whatever you think. And that's the Miami Dolphins. So the Miami Dolphins, we talked a little bit about them last week. I wish Gabe was here because he is our Miami Dolphins expert, historian, analyst, reporter, everything about the Miami Dolphins. But Miami are now 2-0. They beat the Los Angeles Chargers on a pretty electric game, super high scoring game. And then we go next week, this past Monday night, Monday night against the New England Patriots in a tough, hard-fought game that ended up winning 24-17. But I mean, you get to check the games out, and then what do you think of the Dolphins in these first 2 games?
I mean, safe to say that your boy Tua he's legit. We've seen this start from the Dolphins last year. They won a couple statement games early on against the Bills, against the Ravens, and unfortunately he just went out with an injury. But if you look at his stats as a starter last year, like, they were on pace to making the play. They were actually still one game away last year, as I recall, from making the playoffs. Right? They didn't come down to
they made the playoffs.
The final game against the Bills.
Yeah, they made the playoffs with that backup quarterback. It was like a weird. I don't know why I can't remember at the top of my head, but yeah, it was like a weird thing. They ended up squeezing in and making the playoffs.
I don't think they got in. I could be wrong, but didn't they have to beat the Patriots and the Bills or something like that? But they lost to the Bills that last game.
I'll verify, but yeah, go ahead on what you think.
Anyways, yeah, I could be wrong, but back to the Dolphins this year, man. They got one of the most dangerous, or the most dangerous players in the league, man. Tyreek Hill, that guy is an animal. It's crazy that you can just throw it downfield, he'll catch it anywhere. Plus the yards he picks up after catches is scary for teams. But it's good to see that Tua is winning that head-to-head battle against your boy Herbert in the Chargers, in which we all thought and still think that he is an elite quarterback. Well, honestly, man, he's starting to look. He's starting to give me Tony Romo vibes. Big numbers.
That's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's not good. Like Like, he doesn't get as much blame or criticism as other starting quarterbacks.
Real quick,
it's insane.
They played the Bills in the playoffs.
Got it.
That was the wild card game, and then they beat the Jets to get in. They 11-6. I remember that.
So they snuck in, they got in, and then had the
Bills game was and that game was a lot closer than it should have been because they had their backup in at the time.
I remember watching it. Weren't we outside somewhere watching it towards the end of the game?
Yes,
and then
yeah. And it was wild. And I was like, it was insane that the game was even that close.
Yeah, I actually didn't remember that was a playoff game at all. That's crazy. All right, so wait, they made the playoffs, right? So I mean, that's the expectation for them this year, to say the least. At least second round, to get by if they have the starting quarterback available. But I think the Dolphins actually look legit, man. The play calling, their coaching, overall, and of course, week 3, which we're gonna get into. Looking at who they got, which is my Broncos coming into town, and which I will be at that game. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man. The thing with the Dolphins, that team is they're built to win now. They're a really solid team. My only concern is, and this is what I was talking about Gabe with last week, is it's really the defensive side of the ball. I mean, obviously it is the Los Angeles Chargers, but still allowing 30+ points on any team is kind of unacceptable, especially if you're looking to be a contender. And then you allowed New England to come back, almost tie the game up against offense in New England that is honestly atrocious, is not good. I mean, I've been saying from the jump, I was like, how long is it going to take for Bill Belichick in New England to realize Mac Jones is not good? Like, how long is it going to take for them to realize that he's not good? Because
he only had that really good rookie season.
He's average at best. I mean, that rookie season wasn't even that great. Average.
Yeah.
The rookie season wasn't even that great. Look, I've been the biggest Tua hater on this show.
You have. I can verify.
Tua's been playing great. He's been awesome.
He's been consistent.
What he needs to do. But, and I know I'm going to get shit for this, who wouldn't play bad with this team? Like, he's essentially got his Alabama offense back, which is not a bad thing.
You're giving Tua the Brock Purdy treatment right now. Is that what you're saying?
In a way. I'm giving – look, I've said it from the jump, and I don't think I'm necessarily wrong. Tua's ceiling is Alex Smith's peak. He's a player. He's a quarterback that's good. He's solid. I think he's going to be in the league for a long time. I think he can lead teams to playoffs, and he could potentially win a Super Bowl with the Dolphins. But I think he will always be a quarterback that he would have to be surrounded by an elite team, which he is now.
Like star talent.
And I
star
think
receivers, to say the least.
Yeah, like he essentially got his Alabama offense back. With that, it's an offense and receivers that are just the best in the league. No one's going to touch them. And look, for a quarterback like Tua, he needs that. You need to make it as easy as possible for him, and that's great. And I'm glad that he's playing well. So I will eat a little bit because I'll eat some crow because honestly, I didn't think he'd be good at all, but I always thought that, like, if he's going to be good, he's going to have a really, really solid team around him. And luckily for him, Mike McDaniels and that whole front office has done a really great job of not only just building an offense around him that works and that allows him to get rid of the ball quickly, but also to provide weapons around him that he can trust and that he knows he can throw. And then also looks like Raheem Mostert is having like a really good game, really good season so far. Good start to the season. They're able to run the ball super well, and they're able to get the ball out of his hands quickly. Like I said, my only concern with the Dolphins is defensively. I don't know how good the Chargers are going to end up being. The Chargers are 0-2 this season. New England is 0-2 this season. I am curious to see how the Dolphins play against some like tougher opponents, like the Bills, for example. I mean, that's the team you have to beat. That's the team you have not been able to beat for the past, 3 years? Yeah. You got to get over that hump. Once you get over that hump, then I'm really going to start believing in the Dolphins. And once they start, like, what's the rest of their schedule looking like? Let me pull it up here.
I mean, that game against the Bills, whenever they see them,
so you got the Broncos.
It depends on what version of Josh Allen you're going to get.
They got the Bills the week after, the following week, week 4.
Is that home or away? Home, right?
That is away. That is at Buffalo. So that's good.
Oh, wow.
Get your Buffalo game out early while the weather's still nice.
While it's warm. Yeah, while it's warm. Right. I was
early
thinking
October. Semi-warm. It's October.
Yeah, but you're not going to be under 20 feet of snow in the middle of January.
I mean, you know better than I. That's your hometown. So then you got the Giants, Panthers, Eagles. That's a measuring stick match. Playing against the Eagles, that's going to really tell how good you really are. Also against the Bills, I will say. Patriots again, Chiefs, Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets, Cowboys, Ravens. But man, they actually got the gauntlet. That's actually a really tough schedule.
I mean, listen, you got the Jets twice without an Aaron Rodgers this year. I think you got lucky. Dolphins definitely got lucky.
I will say the Jets are still like a solid team. Like just from don't get me wrong, Zach Wilson is horrendous. He's terrible. But, I mean, it's still a really solid defensive team.
Solid young core, defensive presence.
And until the Dolphins can get their defense situated, I mean, who knows? Maybe they could put up some points. But, I mean, you got literally obviously you got the Bills twice. You got the Chiefs. You got the Eagles, the Cowboys. The Ravens. Like, those are a lot of tough games. So, I think they got a tough schedule. So I'm really curious to see like how this plays out. I think as we go through the season, we're going to really see how good the Dolphins are. It is a little early to say, but I mean, even though they're tough teams, these are all teams that they can beat at the end of the day. So, and they should make the playoffs. Whether or not they win the division, that remains to be seen, but they're definitely on my radar. I will say the AFC, man, is just stacked. That's the thing. Even with this schedule, you make it into the playoffs. I mean, the AFC stacked, dude. I mean, obviously the Bengals are down 0-2, but you still have the Bengals. You have the Chiefs. You have the Jags. You have the Bills. We'll see if the Chargers can make it.
Hey, don't put Chargers over Broncos right now, all right?
We'll see. We'll see with the Broncos. I mean, we'll see.
This week,
regardless, it's a stacked division. It's going to be a super. The Ravens. I mean, it's a super tough conference, I should say. So we'll see. I mean, honestly, I have a hard time picking anyone out of this conference because everybody looks vulnerable. Honestly, I mean, the Chiefs didn't look that good. Jags should have beat the Chiefs, but they failed to convert offensively.
Hey, Chiefs already gave up a game week 1, so I mean that could be huge down the road. Yeah. I mean, not to be too dramatic, but you never know. Like,
I mean the Chiefs didn't look that good either. I mean, the Jags should have won that game, but offensively they that was just kind of a weird game, a really strong defensive game. But the Chiefs look susceptible because they have no receivers. Unless Jacksonville can get the offense rolling like we anticipated. I mean, everybody looks vulnerable. So far, the Dolphins have looked the best, but Dolphins have also played a weaker schedule out of everybody. So we'll see as time goes on. I mean, I guess, do you see them really contending, or you think they're just going to be a playoff team?
Nah, I think just a playoff team. Obviously, depending on health, all right, and you can say that about every team, but Tua did get sacked for the first time last game, which was pretty good. So it shows their O-line. It's either their O-line's pretty good, or like you mentioned before, the Dolphins are just good at getting rid of the ball really fast to their receivers.
That's what it is.
Two fast guys, right? So I think that's their game plan overall, right? Every team's job is to protect their quarterback, but especially seeing what happened after last season, I think they drew up some plays to help Tua get rid of the ball faster, and teams might pick up on that throughout the season. So let's see what the Dolphins and Tua have in store, and see how long this is, they can sustain it.
Yeah.
He only got sacked once, so
yeah, I'm a big fan of Mike McDaniels. I think he's I really like the system he's put in place. He's done a great job. But let's go into the Dolphins' opponent next week, and we'll go dive into who we think is going to win when we do our pick 'em. But let's talk about the Broncos. The Broncos had a thriller of a game with, I'm sure it gave you a ton of up and down emotions as you watched it. Started out 21-3, and then they came back. You think you're going to lose the game because you're down 8 points, and then a crazy Hail Mary at the end, and then you're like, oh my God, I have hope. There's something there.
Listen.
You got to get the 2 point, and then you don't get the 2 point, and now there's a controversial pass interference call that wasn't
called. Of course, not called at the end. Of course.
But we'll get into the call. But
listen, bro.
How do you feel about the first 2 weeks? Go with the first 2 weeks.
Of course, it would be the Washington Commanders, right? We never know what to expect with them, right? Every time we do NFL Pick'em, what do we say? You know what? Commanders might pull off this upset because they have in the past. With a rookie quarterback being down, you said 21-3, right?
Yeah, at one point.
Being down 21-3, for them to come back, like what the fuck? And it would be against the Broncos. Overall, 0-2. Not gonna lie. Obviously, I'm disappointed, but I really do like what I see. I saw both games, and compared to last season, because we're going based off that what Russell Wilson meant, he looks really good. I see the confidence back in him. I see the confidence in the team. Yeah, we have a couple of injuries. Jerry Jeudy came back in that second game. But I think there's a flow, right? And, with Sean Payton being in there, setting things in order, the play calling, the decision making, time management. These are all things I think that we fixed so far coming into this season, right? That was horrendous last season. Russell Wilson had 2 touchdowns the first game, throwing touchdowns. He also had 3 touchdowns in the second game. And we lost that first game to your boy Jimmy G having a game-winning drive. We lost by 1 point. And that's because our kicker missed the extra point. So that was a devastating loss on top of what we all know what happened last week, and we didn't convert to 2 with a missed call on a potential PI. So like I said, we didn't get blown out. We're not looking like the Giants. Chargers are also 0-2. And I'm really confident where we're going. And our record definitely does not reflect where we should be right now.
What's holding back the team?
Closing out. I think both games, our defense in the second half has failed us. I don't think putting up points is the problem right now. Obviously, we've come up short in the red zone a few times, but I'm telling you, it's a full 180 turn from last season. We couldn't even put up 21 points last season.
Yes.
We couldn't even do that. We couldn't even get fucking 10 points, right? The first game, I remember watching that closely. Again, we missed the extra point. And, when it came down to crunch time, Jimmy G actually came through, had 4 or 5 receptions going up the field, and they scored that touchdown, and we just couldn't get it back at the end. So I'm going to give credit where it's due. I could blame the defense on that, but close game nonetheless. And again, tale of 2 halves. The second game, our defense didn't really pull through. We started off strong in both games, and we just collapsed at the end.
I think it's funny that you said Russell Wilson's been playing great, but he's 18 for 32 this past game and a 53.4 QBR. Look, I know stats don't always say everything.
Improved. All right.
I know the stats don't say anything, but no, I mean, the stats don't, sometimes they can be misleading. I agree with you. I think he does look better. He looks more confident. He's giving you more like Seattle Russell Wilson vibes. It does seem like having Sean Payton in there has given a little bit more comfort and stability into what you expect. It didn't feel so hectic and no one was in control. We've saw the offseason stuff saying you're not, it's you're not the fucking running for president or whatever the fuck you're why you kissing babies?
Babies.
But no, he has added a certain all right, who the leader is, who's running that. And I think he needed that, especially coming from a Seattle system where you had that in Pete Carroll. And he's playing better and you guys are getting healthier. But man, the one thing that stuck out to me the most with that team is the offensive line is horrendous. Dude, look at this stat. I have the box score up right now for the audio listeners on here. 7 sacks, 31 years. 7 sacks. That's not even talking about the pressures. That's not even talking about the pressures that he had where he was able to get rid of it. The O-line was getting beat up all day. Look, I know Washington has an incredible O-line, and Chase Young was eaten. I mean, everybody on that D-line was eaten. They were like, that offensive line was horrendous. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. It was so bad. And I know that's part of the reason too. I mean, obviously, like that's why I feel like the stats don't always say anything, because he just had to get rid of the ball like countless times to get rid of it. So I don't know how they fix that and shore that up. I don't know if you start putting in the tight ends to help protect block, but it's just unacceptable, man. I mean, you can't get the run game going. I mean, only 121 yards, 23 carries. Like, it's not bad on an average yards per carry, but it's not the best either. I mean, you got to think Russell Wilson helped kind of raise that. I mean, he had 56 yards and 6 carries, and that's just him having open field. Yeah, so that they're really not really creating anything in the actual line, especially when you're down 21, when you're up 21-3, run the ball. But the problem is they can't run it because the offensive line can't create nothing. They can't create any holes. They can't do anything. So between the defense giving up and not actually finishing out games with like they should, and then the offensive line not giving your offense the ability to do what it needs to get done is terrible. It's honestly a miracle Russell Wilson was able to get rid of that ball in the first place.
So no, for sure. And watching it, that makes a lot of sense. But going into next week against the Dolphins, right? Do you think our O-line could hold up against their defensive line?
Well, like we said, that's been the big thing with the Dolphins is the Dolphins defensively don't look super strong, especially towards the end of the game. I mean, they're giving up points. I mean, like they should have put away that game against New England. They looked solid against New England, but New England, like I said, has an awful offense, and then they scored 14 in that they scored 2 touchdowns in that final quarter. So, I mean, it should be an improved game offensively because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, putting up 33 points against that Washington defense is not bad. It's just, I don't know. See, I think it's going to be a really good game. I will say. I think, like I said, Denver is definitely better than what they were, and it's going to be improvement. And I think it's going to be one of those where they progressively get better week in and week out. So we'll see how it do. I still have I think the Dolphins are going to win that still, but I think the Broncos should give a run for money. But it's going to be tough coming down from 0-3 to start off the season. That's going to be super tough. And you're playing at Dolphins. It's going to be hot as shit there. I mean, you talk about Mile High having the advantage of the altitude, but having to come down here and play in the humidity. And then we talked about last year how they designed the stadium so the sun beats down. On the Denver Broncos.
You know what's crazy? You know what side I'm sitting on too? I fucked up. I'm on the visitor side. Well, it'll be hot. Gonna be sweating. Yo, honestly, we need this.
Are you on the top? Are you on the top or the bottom?
Lower 3.
So you're the first bowl? The 100?
No, I'm at the top, but I'm the low row of the 300s.
You should be fine. You should be high enough. You're okay. But cover. Yeah, you should be good enough. But yeah, I mean, like I said,
it'll be a big win on the road. We already dropped the ball first 2 home games of the season. We can't go back. You can't start off 0-3 like you mentioned. Like you said, definitely a winnable game. Listen, defense got to lock down. We got to continue putting up points, right? We can't go in 1 touchdown, 1 field goal against the Dolphins. Like if they're giving up 30 points a game, then we got to get our 30 points against them.
Yeah, well, you guys cannot allow 30 points either, which is going to be – I mean, you allow 30 points to a rookie quarterback and drafted in the 5th round in a Washington team that's not very good offensively at home. So
when you put it that way, it doesn't sound like we have a chance.
At home versus now you're going against probably the most high-powered offense in the entire league, away, in the heat and humidity, on a team that's rolling, feeling confident, has a good offensive play scheme. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be hard. So it's the only way Denver wins this is if they go into a shootout. That's the only way. And
you know what I have to say to that?
Trust between the two teams.
Let's ride.
I'm going to trust the team that won in the shootout. Broncos. That's right. Oh man. But let's switch over to the NFC. And I know every show in the American sports world that talks any little bit about the NFL, you can't go without having your obligatory / mandatory Cowboys talk. You just, as much as I hate the Cowboys, it's unavoidable. You can't help it because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can learn everything you need to know about the Cowboys just by what you see on social media, YouTube thumbnails, and really that's it. And you can know everything about what's happening with the Cowboys.
Thanks.
But Gabe kept on saying it. He kept on saying it all up to the all preseason.
What did he say?
The season was that, hey man, you know the classic saying. You know the classic saying. I don't have to tell you. Say it.
What Gabe saying?
No, he said. Well, he said the classic saying that every Cowboy fan says.
This our year?
Yeah.
It's our year.
I was like, you didn't even watch. I know you already know it.
This our year. We're looking real good. This our year.
Dak.
Start off 2-0. That's it. We're going to the chip.
But as much as I hate to admit it, in all fairness, the Cowboys do look good. They look really good. The defense.
I'm not gonna lie. They look real fucking good right now. I'm not even gonna be a hater. We know this conversation. We could talk about sustainability. We could talk about playoffs. Let's talk about right now. They look good now.
This is
shit's crazy.
We're only 2 games in.
Yeah.
We're only 2 games in.
We could talk about just the 2.
And they only played the 2 New York teams.
I mean, listen, Jets, granted, I know they just lost Aaron Rodgers, but, they got souped up this offseason.
Giants were a playoff team. They won a playoff game.
And division rivals. So, I mean, they see each other a lot. And it's not about them beating the Giants. I think it's how they beat the Giants. Like, that was demoralizing. Like, holy shit. And you have to see them again.
Damn, how do you feel?
That's
feel that? Damn.
You had no answer.
New York took 2 L's, bro. How do you feel? It's the Cowboys, bro.
Yo.
2 L's against the Cowboys.
Jets had no chance, bro. After what the Cowboys did to the Giants, Jets had no chance without Aaron Rodgers.
Zach Wilson, 3 picks, 3 sacks.
No way, bro. No way.
Listen, but
if your defense is scoring more points than your offense, that's just insane.
No, but
the Giants can't be that bad. Do you think the Giants are just that bad that they just got cooked by the Cowboys, or are the Cowboys actually that good?
No, or mix of both. I think the Cowboys are that good. Like, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, the Giants were a playoff team. They won a playoff game. Whether or not you would say that they were a playoff team coming into this season, or if they even were really a playoff team last season, like quality-wise, that's another topic for another day. But
that's how the Giants look when they won their Super Bowls. They didn't look elite at all. Like, they're just usually an average team that will make a playoff run.
And like you said, it's not the fact that they beat them; it's how they beat them. If Dallas squeezed out these 2 victories, I think there'd be a lot more questions. But if the Dallas Cowboys and you're a Dallas fan and you say and you whip out your tattoo that says this is the year.
Crossed out.
These are
the updated to this year.
Cross it out.
Cross out last year.
You beat the teams that you should beat, and not only did you beat the teams you should beat, but you absolutely obliterated them and looked amazing. The defense looked unstoppable. Granted, like I said, these aren't strong offenses. You're talking about Zach Wilson, who's probably the worst draft bust I've ever seen in my life, and Daniel Jones, who isn't that great. And
overrated.
But nonetheless, you still shut out one team, and you've only allowed 10 points in 2 games, which is really good. At the end of the day, this is an NFL team. These are NFL teams. To do that is pretty damn good. And what Zach Wilson is doing, not Zach Wilson, Dak Prescott is doing is really great. I mean, we shit on the Jets, but like I said, the Jets defense is really good. That between the Jets and the Cowboys, you're talking about probably the two of like the 5 best defenses in the league right now. And for him to put up 30 on them is really impressive. I mean, there was a lot of shit going on Dak Prescott coming into the season because he was throwing picks in like training camp and he looked bad in training camp. But then later on in training camp in the preseason, he started to look better. And now he's coming into the season and he looks pretty good. Look, but here's the thing with you have to prove it to me week in and week out. Like at the end of the day, I don't care how good you look. Every year, I feel like the Cowboys should be good. But you always know in the back of your mind the Cowboys are going to cowboy. They always manage to. But to be fair, though, this is probably the best Cowboys team I've seen
so far
in the long time.
Years, yeah. I mean, granted, last year they were kind of looking like this, and then Dak went out with his injury, and they actually still won a few games. Like they won games without him. Obviously, that ruins your whole flow coming into the season. They won a playoff game last year. They beat Tampa, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not, yeah. So this year, I think that because of how they're winning, the fans are just going to hype it up even more. And then it's going to be that much harder for them to take a loss. Don't expect them to go undefeated. All right. I don't want to hear that nonsense.
They're not.
They're going to go undefeated. Like they're going to take a couple losses. They might lose 3 or 4 games. Right. And
honestly, I don't know if you remember last year, they took the Eagles to the end. Like it was in that regular season. Like that was and that was Gardner Minshew, I think, playing for the Eagles at the time. But they took him right down to the end. It was close. No response. Cowboys left you speechless.
Listen, like I said, we just gotta wait for the playoffs, right? 2 things we're watching: them win and how they win. If they're gonna continue to dominate, then holy shit! By week 5, week 6, hey, I might be a believer. You never know. And they did just lose a very important piece to their defense in Diggs, out for the season.
Yeah, so they did beat. I just wanted to verify they did beat the Bucs, and then they lost to the Niners in the divisional round.
That's a bigger question. Can they get by the Niners this year?
I think the big question is, can you get a win against the Eagles? Can you win that division? Can you win the division and get the home field? Because, I mean, Eagles.
That will set you up. Yeah, that'll give you a better path for a Super Bowl. Absolutely.
I think the Eagles are the strongest team in the league.
Yeah.
I think they should have won the Super Bowl. They were the better team. They just couldn't get it done. The Eagles are the team to beat in the entire league. So, and the Cowboys got to face them twice.
So you're saying so right now their eyes should be set on division, win the division before playoffs, before Super Bowl. Win the division.
They didn't win it last year. You couldn't beat the Eagles last year. You didn't win it. Eagles are the best team in the NFC, and to me, it's not even really close. I mean, obviously, your top 3 teams is the Eagles, Niners, and Cowboys. Those are your top 3 in the NFC. Everybody else, it don't even matter. It's going to be between those 3 teams. And look, if you want to be the best, you want to say this is your year, you got to go beat the team you couldn't beat last year. You got to go beat your division rivals. I think
that's what it is every year. They always beat these shitty teams, these average teams, mediocre, right? And then when it comes to crunch time and they got to face the Eagles, they got to face the 49ers, they got to face these stronger teams, they just don't pull out the win.
The problem is just the inconsistency, and it's just like they can't remain consistent. And this could, like I said, this could be the year. Let me check out the rest of their schedule. They have the Cardinals up next, which is a win. They have the Patriots, which is a win. They go against the Niners. That's going to be a good game.
That's the game to watch.
Then you got the Chargers.
Who knows? Herbert might come out strong.
That could be a kind of a tough game. You don't know what the Chargers are going to be like. You got the Rams, which they should win that game. And then you got that Eagles November 5th. You got the Eagles. Then you got the Giants again. Panthers, Commanders, Seahawks, Eagles again, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. I mean, that's a relatively easy schedule. I mean, your biggest threats on there are the Eagles, the Bills and the Dolphins and Niners, yeah, and you got Lions. I mean, we'll see how good the Lions are, but I mean that's not the toughest schedule in the world, so they should make the playoffs, and they should give. I mean, they have the capability to beat anybody on that list. Like I said, this is one of the best like when people are actually saying like that's why I was messing with Gabe. I was like, don't say it. Don't say it. He's like, man, I think the Cowboys might actually be good this year. But you know what? He's honestly not wrong. Like this is the first time I will say it, but like shit, the Cowboys actually look deadly this year. They look really good. Yeah, losing Diggs, massive loss. But I still think that defensive line with Marcus Parsons, they can just get after it. It's not even gonna matter too much. It sucks. Obviously, you want him there. He's a massive threat. He's a ball hawk who can pick off anything and take it to the house. But I think the defense is still overall just so good that even if you do miss one of your stars like that, they still have the capability to be one of the best in the league. So we'll see, man. I think we had to have our obligatory Cowboys talk, and there, it's over. Goodbye. We're not going to bring it up till later. A couple of weeks.
I'm not going to bring it up for a couple of weeks. I'm not bringing it up to that 49ers game. How about that?
Right.
The game that matters.
All right. So this week we're going to do our pick 'em. Gabe is going to not write these. They're going to once I upload these, Gabe's going to write these down, and he's going to tell us how we did.
Does he actually have a chart this season? Because I've been out for a while on my sabbatical.
Actually does. He does have a chart this season, and hopefully,
I think it's our third or fourth season we've been doing this, and since Gabe hasn't been keeping track thoroughly, I'm just gonna say I've won every season because there's no proof that I haven't. So I am the reigning champ.
And we're gonna get Gabe's pick. I'm gonna tell Gabe to give his picks before the season, before this starts, so then he can be involved in it too. Even though he's not on the show, if he could take the time, he's just gonna write them out so we can get next week. We can all see how everybody did. But let's get into our week 3 picks of the 2023 season of the NFL.
Yes, sir.
And we're starting off with the Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns. Tennessee Titans +3.5. Cleveland Browns -3.5 at Cleveland, with the money line leaning towards the Browns to win at home.
Your boy,
Cleveland's actually
have been looking. Watson's been looking like Dookie. I don't know if you have. If you.
No, I was going to say the Browns have been looking better. Watson still looks like shit. Watson looks like
I can agree with that.
Watson looks like the Browns.
literally.
But I think Cleveland in general, they've been actually like the team as a whole has been playing actually pretty solid, and I think Watson is doing enough for them to win. Obviously,
are they 1-1 or what's their record? 1-1, right?
They beat the Bengals. Oh my god,
their second game was Monday Night Football. Was it?
No, they lost to the Steelers. Yeah, they're 1-1. Yeah, they lost to the Steelers.
They lost. Big
divisional round. So, I'm gonna go Cleveland and win here.
Wow.
I'm gonna take Cleveland to cover the 3.5. I think they win by a touchdown. Tennessee's bad. Tennessee's really bad. Tennessee's gonna be one of the worst teams in the league.
I just think that you have a vendetta out against Tennessee for your own personal reasons. We all know why. Division rivals. Anywho, damn, man. You know what? I haven't really seen Tennessee play the first 2 games. I just know how Watson played that last game. I'm going off that. But I'll give them benefit of the doubt. I'll stick by your side. I'm going to go Browns on this one. I'll go Browns.
To cover. All right. We got the LA Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings. LA +1.5. Minnesota -1.5. With the money line at -104 for the Chargers and -112 for the Vikings. The Vikings as essentially the only reason they're just getting the home field advantage. The only reason why they're getting the odds right here is at that -1.5. It's just because they're at home. But I'm going to go Chargers here, man. I think the Chargers win this game. I don't know how I feel about the Vikings. I feel like Vikings – they're always a playoff team year in and year out, but I never know. I don't know. They're such a weird team to pick. But I think the Chargers can go in here and win this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see the Chargers starting off their season 0-3. I just don't, especially since they don't have, if I'm not mistaken, any big injuries going on right now.
Mike Williams out. Their star wide receiver.
They do have someone out. They do. Damn, bro, that sucks for the Chargers.
But they still got weapons. I mean, Keenan Allen
every year, bro.
Keenan Allen still looked really good.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler is still a baller. He's still getting they got players on that team. They can still put up points.
They got players that could put up some points and numbers for sure, bro. That's what I'm like. I don't see Chargers going off.
Losing Mike Williams does hurt though.
Shit. Damn, they're riddled with injuries every year. Well, give me Chargers. And I think Herbert is gonna have 3 touchdowns. For sure.
All right. So we got the dogs on this game. All right. We got the New England. This is not a good game. New England Patriots at the New York Giants.
This one's
New England minus 2.5. New York Jets plus 2.5 at home as the home dogs. I'm gonna go Patriots here, man. The Jets. Zach Wilson is so bad. I think Bill Belichick is just gonna dial up something just to. Patriots going to win this just running the ball down their throat. I'm going to go Patriots win by a field goal. I think that 2.5 is just enough.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually do think it's going to be a closer game than what we think.
It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be like 17-14.
I mean, the Jets defense might keep them in the game, but I just don't see them scoring enough points.
It's going to be like 17-14. But I don't see New England scoring a lot of points either. Yeah. It's just they're going to win by a field goal.
I'm going to go Pats. I'm going to go Pats on this one.
All right, we're pretty much all on board here. All right, we got the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston Texans plus 8.5. Jacksonville minus 8.5 as the heavy home favorites. Man, this is a tough spread for me. Jacksonville historically struggles against Houston, even though Houston is terrible. But Houston is really bad. And Jacksonville
guys have a big game against them last season, towards the end of the season.
I believe they lost to Houston last season. We've struggled against Houston a lot over the past 6-7 years. But I think this year finally changes. I mean, they got CJ Stroud, who actually looks not too bad, second overall pick this year. But Jacksonville is, I mean, at the end of the day, we're title contenders. We're pushing to win the AFC. We're one of the top teams in the AFC. I think they're going to want to bounce back after a tough Chiefs loss. I think Jags win this by 10.
Yeah, it just sucks that you got the Chiefs early on in the season, but then again, it could be a blessing in disguise. You got them out of the way, and then you can focus on all these other teams.
Well, I think that Chiefs game is going to result into playoff implications, like home field and shit like that. So it sucks to lose that game because, for all you know, that could lead to home field, second, third seed, or whatever it is.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like any team facing the Chiefs, bro, you're more than likely probably going to lose. The Chiefs are just that good every year. But I'm going to go ahead. You guys always let me down, man. You guys always let me down. But I don't have faith in Houston either. I really don't. But every time I root for the Jags, historically, guys, you guys can check the record. You can go back a couple episodes.
This is the year.
No, I actually have faith in you guys this year. You guys are looking good, man. And Ridley, not to get off topic, man, nice little piece. All right, I'm gonna go Jags. You guys can put up points. A little solid defense.
And at home.
At home. All
right, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Washington Commanders. Shit. Buffalo Bills minus 6.5, Washington plus 6.5, as the Bills are heavy road favorites. Man, that's a little high for me. I don't know. They're really not rating the Commanders. They're really not rating that Denver win too much. But I don't know, man. Then again, Buffalo lost against the Jets. Essentially, with the Zach Wilson. I said whack Wilson.
Well, you got to look at how Josh Allen played. He had 4 turnovers. He had 3 interceptions and a fumble.
But then he balled out the next week. So, I mean.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know what version of Josh Allen we're going to get.
Washington? Man, that's a large spread for me at Washington. I don't know. I think Washington's going to keep it close, man. Look, if that Sam Howell kid can play like he played against Denver, granted, this isn't – I mean, it's Denver versus Buffalo. But, man, Buffalo's going to win. But, man, that spread – I'm going to go Commanders on the spread. I think Commanders probably lose by 5 or 4. I'm not even trying to side with you on all of these picks, but that one seems really realistic, and it makes sense. So they can get after. They can force turnovers.
Thing is, like, I don't know, Commander. I don't think they're gonna pull upset on the Bills this early on in the season. Josh Allen came back. Let's see if he can ball out 2 games in a row. Right, I think that he faced a lot of scrutiny after that first game, and he's not going to play like that anymore.
Yeah, I just feel like Washington can create turnovers. But all right, let's go to the next one. We got Indianapolis Colts at the Baltimore Ravens.
Easy pick.
Colts plus 8.5, Baltimore minus 8.5. Colts also out with Anthony Richardson, the rookie quarterback, bringing in Gardner Minshew.
The boy. Your boy is back.
Man, I don't.
Yo, how do these guys get second and third and fourth chances?
Gardner Minshew's he's a good backup. He's honestly he might be the best backup in the league.
He always has an opportunity to play every single
Fitzmagic.
Team. I don't get it.
He's literally Fitzmagic 2.0. He's just going to be a guy. He's a journeyman that's always going to be solid. He'll look, if you had to throw Gardner Minshew in there Gardner Minshew beat the Cowboys last year with the Eagles. Granted, it's the Eagles team, but he's a guy that you can throw in there and you feel good about that you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know. Baltimore just lost J.K. Dobbins. I forgot about that. Torn Achilles out for the season. Yeah. Their star running back. That is a big spread. Man,
you always have Lamar as running back.
But no, it's got to be Baltimore. I don't know why I'm overthinking. It's Baltimore. Colts are terrible. Even if they had Anthony Richardson in there, I still wouldn't feel comfortable with them.
Bro, they don't even have Jonathan Taylor playing.
Yeah. I'm going to go Baltimore. Even though I don't really rate Baltimore that high. I don't think they're going to be too great this season, but I think they're
your boy OBJ is out with a little knee injury once again. Don't know how long he's out for.
All right.
Nah, easy pick. Ravens, man. Ravens got this game.
All right. Let's do Atlanta Falcons at the Detroit Lions. Atlanta Falcons +3, Detroit -3.
Going Falcons. I had to pick this one for you. Falcons are looking good, man. I don't know, bro. Wide receiver London putting up points. Their running backs, they're looking solid.
I'm with you. I think Atlanta actually looks good. They started out 2-0. Granted, Atlanta did play Green Bay and they played Chicago, two not very good teams.
That's fair.
But I do think Atlanta is a team on the rise, but Detroit is here. And Detroit looks solid, and I'm taking Detroit to win, especially at home. I think Detroit win by a touchdown. So that's our first separate. That's the first time we pick separately.
Listen, I'm going with Atlanta, man. I'm feeling it. Something feels right.
New Orleans Saints at the Green Bay Packers. New Orleans -1.5. Green Bay -1.5 as the home favorites. I'm going New Orleans to win on the road here. I like New Orleans defense. I think New Orleans is honestly kind of a sneaky good team. They're a team that could, it could be a trap game. They could sneak up on you, but I think they take care of the Packers. I don't think the Packers are that great.
I'm actually going Packers here on this one. Packers at home. Love looks good. Let's see what he can do. Saints, right. They might have a little competitive edge, but
Derek Carr don't look bad
right now. Listen, man. I think Packers have a fair shot at this game at home against the Saints. I don't see much from the Saints this year.
We're separating again.
And we're about to separate one more time because I know who you're going to pick on this next one.
All right. We got the Denver Broncos at the I almost said Miami. At the Miami Dolphins.
The inner Miami Dolphins. Inner Miami.
Dolphins -6.5. Denver Broncos plus 6.5 with the odds being right down the middle at minus.
Damn, why they give us that big ass spread, bro? The disrespect.
This is tough. This is really tough for me because I could really see Dolphins winning by a touchdown, but I could also see it staying within a touchdown.
Hey, look, our first 2 games we've lost by less than a field goal. I'm telling you that right now. I know
you're probably going to be. I'm gonna go Denver. Denver lose, but I think they get within the touchdown. I think
but
Denver
they cover
loses by 4.
I'm going Denver win.
I think the Dolphins don't cover.
Denver win, and we're winning by a touchdown.
All right. Well, don't bet on the money line.
Now.
You're going to lose money. You can bet on the spread, but don't listen to JoJo. Don't bet on the money line. Oh, man. That over-under is not bad either. 47.5. There could definitely be more than 47 points, 48 points in that game. What is that? 24 each? They could both get over 24 each. Like that's totally possible. All right. Now we got the Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. Carolina Panthers plus 5.5. Seattle Seahawks minus 5.5 with the odds leaning towards the Seahawks to cover at minus 105 with the Panthers minus 115. Obviously, rookie quarterback Bryce Young, smallest quarterback to ever get drafted, number 1 overall pick. Has not looked very good. Seattle, honestly, they might have another run where they can sneak into like a wild card. I'm gonna go Seattle at home here.
I could actually see that happening. Geno's had a good game.
Geno's continuing to play well.
Yeah, he's been consistent, and that's all you can ask for. So I'm gonna go Seahawks in this one. Don't sleep on your boy Lockett. Lockett had a big game last game.
This is a big spread right here. All right, we got the Chicago Bears at the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Bears.
Kansas City Chiefs minus 12.5. The Bears plus 12.5. Man, at Kansas City. Ooh, that's a big spread. I hate picking Kansas City against big spreads. Kansas City, honestly, hasn't looked too great, but then again, the Bears look even worse.
Well, they haven't looked dominant, is what you're saying.
The receivers suck, dude.
Yeah, they're folding.
Those receivers suck. They're terrible. I'm gonna go.
This might be the year we see Mahomes with some bad receivers. Finally,
this might be the year we see the Chiefs play on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know the Chiefs have hosted the last 5 AFC Championship games. The Chiefs have not played a road playoff game since Patrick Mahomes. I want to see him on the road, and that's why I thought that Jacksonville game was so important because them losing that could have implications about him playing on the road. But I'm gonna go Bears to get within 12.5. I don't know. I'm always sketchy about the Chiefs with these massive spreads, and they're not putting up a lot of points.
Terrible this season.
I mean, the Chiefs put up 21. Put up 20 against Detroit, and then 17 against the Jags. I mean, the Bears do look terrible, but I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Bears here. I'm gonna go Bears with the spread, but
with the
obviously
spread.
Chiefs are gonna win.
Nah, I'm doing Chiefs, and they're gonna win by a touchdown and a field goal.
All right. Now we got the Dallas Cowboys at the Arizona Cardinals. Dallas Cowboys minus 12.5. Arizona Cardinals plus 12.5. Let me know what you pick.
You got to go with that one. Yeah, no.
All right. So you got the Cowboys?
We're going Cowboys with the spread.
Man. It's a big spread. But, yeah, how can I pick – Cardinals is another team that looks awful. Kyler Murray out. Yeah, I'm going to go Cowboys. I hate doing big spreads, but
Cowboys. The Cardinals let the Giants come back.
Their point differential is insane, dude.
Cardinals let the Giants come back. What do you think the Cowboys are going to do to them?
Cowboys have a plus 60 point differential right now. It's insane.
You have to go with the spread. The numbers don't lie, bro.
All right. Now, Sunday Night Football, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Pittsburgh is plus 2.5. Las Vegas Raiders minus 2.5.
Yeah, man.
I like the Raiders, man. Jimmy G not looking too bad.
He's
you got
doing his job.
Adams. You got Josh McDaniels. He's going back to a system he was used to when he came into the league. The Patriot connection. I don't know if Jimmy G's really an upgrade over Derek Carr. They kind of feel like, if anything, I think Derek Carr's a little better.
But Jimmy G has way more playoff experience.
But Derek Carr's a Pro Bowler.
But Jimmy G.
Say what you will about that Pro Bowl season, but he's a Pro Bowler. Same way that.
And where's Derek Carr now in New Orleans?
New Orleans, right? Balling. Now I'm gonna go Vegas here at home. I think Vegas can win this game.
I mean, it sucks to say, like, obviously, I want to wish on the Raiders' downfall, right? Division rivals, and we need the edge. We're already down in our division, winless, with the Chargers. Chiefs 1-1, and I think are Raiders 2-0 or are they 1-1?
The Raiders are. Let me double check. The Raiders are 1-1. They beat the Broncos and they lost to the Bills pretty substantially.
Hey, you know what? Hey, we're looking real good in the division right now. Chiefs are 1-1, Raiders 1-1, Chargers and us 0-2. We're in it. We're still in it. You know what? Fuck the Raiders, and I'm gonna go the Steelers to pull off the upset on the road.
All right. Now we got Monday night football. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Philadelphia -4.5. Tampa Bay +4.5. Jalen Hurts versus Baker Mayfield. Who will win? No, in all seriousness, Baker don't look too bad, man.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't give a shit.
No, in all seriousness, he does look better. He's continued how he played with the Rams.
My thing is like, why can't he just be consistent, bro? Nobody's asking you to win a Super Bowl right now, but like, just be consistent. Like, I just don't understand.
2 games in a row, man.
Bro, he shows flashes, and then like 4 games later, you're like, yo, what? Like, who? We're all questioning his ability to play. It's insane. The way he has us like this every single time, bro. Like, we're believers. He comes in clutch 1 game, and we're like, oh shit, he's back. And you don't see him for another 5 games.
When you think about it, though, that Tampa team has pretty much stayed together. I mean, you still got Chris Godwin.
Aside from Brady.
Yeah, Godwin. Oh my God, Mike Evans, a lot of defense, Devin White, Levante David. You still got a lot of those players that are still there. But the Eagles are just too much, man. Eagles are too good.
Legit contenders.
The Eagles are going to win by a touchdown. And yeah, what do you
got? Give me Eagles, man. It's a no-brainer.
All right, and that is our week 3 pick 'em. We'll see how we do next week, and hopefully Gabe does his picks and counts it as well. So yeah.
Fact.
And I think we're going to end it off there. Any final thoughts, JoJo?
Final thoughts. Listen, guys, I will be at that Broncos Miami game. Follow us on our Instagram, Real Fans Podcast. I'm gonna give some content out there, so you guys can enjoy my experience there. And hoping for a win. Future episodes, when we still got to go over this MLB playoff race. Coming down to the wire, a couple of games left here in the season, and wild card standings are indeed wild.
Yeah, especially on the NL. NL is super tight right now. But yeah, you guys know where to find us. Anywhere you get your podcast, we're available on any platform. Also, if you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to the video and the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in.